once it goes.
I have a fly here.
We are live. Hi,
Hi,
everyone.
everybody.
It is me again. Your favorite little beading host, Kristen Fagan here with Softlex Company. And we are here with the wonderful, magnificent Kellie of Kellie's Bead Boutique. So happy to have you here, Kellie. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Kristen. I was so honored to be asked to join in on this. As you guys all know, I absolutely adore Softlex, and it's the only beading wire I ever have used. And plus, you guys have, many, many other wonderful products. But you're one of my favorites.
Thank you. Oh, we love to hear that. You have been such a great supporter for so many years. And we just want to say thank you. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
We so appreciate it.
It's because they're using the wrong stuff. You got to use Softlex.
You got to use the right stuff. Yes,
Absolutely.
Kellie, you have a wonderful video all about that, if I recall.
I do.
On your magnificent YouTube channel. And I just want to let everyone know, I think Kellie went viral on one of her YouTube videos recently. Is that right?
Yeah, well, I think I did it a couple of years ago. So it just reached 1 million views on my how to do a sliding knot. I mean, it was just done on a lark. I had no video one day and I thought, what can I do? Oh, maybe I'll show how to do a sliding knot. And who knew that would be the first of my videos to hit 1 million views. And
1 million. That is amazing. What a feat. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A sliding knot is a wonderful technique to know and learn. And I know you are a master of knots.
Well, I do kind of like knots. We've got some in here because when I was putting this together, I'm like, how can I put barrel knots and Softlex together? And I kind of had like a little moment there and created something kind of fun. But it was just one of those things that I just thought, I just quickly put this video together. And honestly, I gave it zero thought. And next thing you know, like I'm at a million views. So that was kind of an exciting week to have that happen. So yeah, it's good.
Barb says, amazing, but not surprising.
Cute.
Very cute. No, and I love this project you have for us today. I think that people are always trying to come up with ways to cover those crimps and use things in their designs to make it their own, a little more unique. And I think using this knot that you're going to share with us today to cover your crimps is just ingenious. It's just great.
Well, thanks. Yeah, when I started to create this piece for the project, I was just going to use crimp covers, and I went looking in the store for the right color of antique bronze. And I've got a couple different antique bronze tones in here, but the ones I had just looked wrong. And I went, okay, now what am I going to do? And so then all of a sudden I thought, I wonder if I could use a barrel knot, like a crimp cover. And when it worked, I thought, oh my gosh, I love this idea because it just gives that whole organic feel that I like so much. And of course, apparently I have the crown to be the barrel knot queen for some reason.
Yes.
So I'm going to have to buy one day and wear it as a joke, but
yeah. So for those of you that don't know Kellie's Bead Boutique, she has a fabulous shop. You can go check her out at Kellie's. That's KELLIES, beadboutique.com. And the last I looked, I think your kits were sold out. So I don't know if you have any more of this one.
What I can do, after the event's over, if anybody's wanting them, I will disassemble these two that I've got, because I've got my sample, and then I've got the one that I'm making today. So I can disassemble them and put some new Softlex and leather in there, and I can remake them essentially. So I can have two more. That's it, because we sold out pretty fast. So, yeah.
So there might be two more lucky people that can grab this kit, but otherwise it's a fabulous idea and design, and something that you can use in other pieces that you're making. And I know Kellie's got quite a few other kits on her website that you could take a look at as well. So
I've got hundreds.
Miss this one, check out some of her others and see what else you can grab from Kellie's Bead Boutique. Hi, everybody. Kim says she just had to watch the famous sliding knot video.
Thanks, Kim.
Yeah, and Sarah says she does have lots of other really cool kits. So one of the things I've been asking, because I know you, and I've gotten to know you so much better through the Great Bead Extravaganza, which has been fantastic. But I don't know that much about your shop. So is there anything in particular that you feel you specialize in, or you have like a little bit of everything? Tell us a little bit more.
Well, I have a really big store. I have about 2,000 square feet, and it's loaded to the rafters. I think probably we're best known for our semi-precious stones. I have a huge, huge selection of semi-precious stones. Um, and we have a lot of check glass because I love check glass. It's just so pretty. I've used it today. And it's funny, when I first opened, I said, I'm not doing seed beads. They annoyed me. And now we have a huge seed bead selection. We have tons of delicas and the, 6/0, all my Yukis. We have a lot. So people come in here and they usually go, if they're brand new, they go, oh my goodness, I did not expect this, because I have a huge chain selection and a huge leather section. And we have these really fun $5 bagged findings that everybody loves, because you can get them for $4 if you buy in groups of 3. They don't have to be the same ones, just any group of any 3, and you get them $1 cheaper. So we have a lot of things like that. And I sell, we have a deal on our strands. So on our semi-precious, if you buy $200 worth, you get them for $100. So
whoa, yeah, that's fantastic.
So we're kind of known for that. And so we have a lot of designers that shop here, a lot of people that just like to create for fun too. But I guess semi-precious is what I specialize in, but we have a lot of everything else too. So
those of you that don't know you very well, where is your shop?
I'm in a little town called Pitt Meadows, British Columbia, and I'm about an hour east of Vancouver. So most people kind of have an idea. We're on the West Coast, and normally it's a beautiful, temperate climate here. But we're going through a horrible heat wave, and we haven't had any rain in months. We're supposed to get some next week, and we're all praying for some, because it is dry as a bone. Forest fires everywhere right now. So it's, I'm going to be stalked by one of my staff. She's going to photobomb us.
We love a good photobomb.
Oh, here comes Jen. Oh, you got to come for,
Hi,
Jen. There's Jen.
Oh, so nice to see you, Jen.
She said she was going to do that. She's funny.
Yeah.
We have a good time. I have fabulous staff. I'm so lucky, because they all run the store when I'm not here, which is a lot, because I'm doing other things behind the scenes. So if you're ever in the Vancouver area, stop out and say hi. I've actually had people fly in from all around United States that have wanted to come in and meet me, because of my YouTube channel. I have a lot of subscribers, and so people want to meet me, and they've flown in just to say hi, which is so humbling. It's really, really nice. So I love that.
It's amazing. And then if they can't come meet you in person, then they can shop with you over at your website, kellysbeadboutique.com.
Absolutely.
And where else can they find you? Where else do you spend your time? So she's got YouTube channel. Is it called Kellie's Bead Boutique there as well?
Yeah. So it's Kellie's Bead Boutique everywhere. I'm on Instagram, although I'm not very good on the Instagram thing. I even tried my hand at TikTok. That was a joke, because I'm not 21 and I'm not cool.
Yeah, I have an account, but I haven't done anything with it either.
I've tried. I have a young girl that works here that's 21, and she's always like, you got to get on TikTok. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm 40 years too old for that.
I look and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fun. It's hard. It's hard to be everywhere, right?
Yeah. I have a lot on the go. So I'm pretty much on every social media channel. We have a Facebook page, and I have as I call it, Kellie's Bead Boutique and Blab group or something like that. Just a place for people to show off their wares and get some advice. And I hop on, we'll say things, and we post things and sales and stuff like that. And if you do come to my page, make sure you sign up for the newsletter, because that's how you find out about all the sales and stuff like that. So
yes, you don't want to miss that. So
Beads
definitely sign up. And it sounds like Kellie's got some good deals going on.
I do try. I try to make my customers happy. So we keep our kits really affordable. This one was a little more expensive, but there's a lot of parts. But we do try to keep things as affordable as we can.
I thought this one was quite an affordable kit as well. So
yeah, not too bad. I don't add much onto my kits. We just try to keep them as affordable as we can, so that everybody can join in on the fun.
Join in on the beading journey. So Sarah's saying it's Kellie's Bead Boutique Beads and Blab group on Facebook.
Thanks, Sarah, because I don't even know what it's called.
Thanks, Sarah. She's good like that. Fantastic. Well, I'm excited to see what you're going to share with us today.
All right. Well, if you want to move,
I'll just
take me out of here for a second. I'll flip around, and let's hope that everything goes smoothly. All right.
Very affordable. Jennifer says very affordable for all that you get in Kellie's kits. Yeah. And Lydia is also sharing that the Canadian exchange rate is good. So for those of you that were maybe worried about that, that is good as well. Terry loves all of Kellie's videos and kits.
Thank you.
Robin.
All right.
Hi, Robin. I'm glad you're here too. So while Kellie's getting set up, I will just share that we still have our commemorative customer appreciation mug available for pre-order over at softflexcompany.com. And it's got all of our beautiful mugs on the mug. So all of your presenters this week, you have all your beading friends here joining you. And it says on here, beads are the seeds of inspiration. Friends help grow the garden. Not only do you get the mug, but you're going to get some mystery items inside. There'll be some goodies. There'll be some coupons. There'll be all sorts of stuff from our lovely presenters as well that are going to go inside here. So check that out. We have pre-orders open through Sunday. We originally were going to take them through Friday, but we decided to extend it through Sunday for those of you that join us over the weekend and watch some of the replays. August 1st is when we will close those pre-orders, and then we'll work on getting your mugs ordered and all of your goodies stuffed inside.
All right, I think I'm good to go. I can't see because I don't have a camera to be able to tell. So
I will pull you up on screen here, and you can take a better look.
Okay. Well, I have to kind of stand up there and have a look. Does it look like I'm in frame? I can't tell when I'm looking.
You're definitely in frame. If you can get a little closer, that would be good. But if not, I think it's still fine.
All right. Let me see if I can. It's hard without being able to see because I don't. For everybody that's watching, I apologize. My laptop decided to pack it in at the last second, and it's always a challenge, when we're doing these things. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get. I can't get any closer, unfortunately. So that's about it. But we'll work with it. Okay.
Yeah, it looks great.
I won't be able to see what I'm doing because I have no way of seeing what I'm doing. So I'm going to try to hover around here, and that looks like it's sort of the middle, right?
Yep, you're perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
That's the middle. Then if I have any questions, I will just chime in and ask you, so you don't have to worry about trying to keep up and see any comments. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. So today we're going to be making my garden party necklace. And this one has some beautiful tiara cast parts. And of course, we're using our Softflex. And we're going to be using the medium 19 or 0.019. I use this for everything. I tend to stick with the medium because that's what I like. But if you're using Softflex, you can't go wrong. So that's what I am using today. So we've got that. I've got some chain that we're going to be using and some beautiful check glass. I love working with check glass. The colors are always so pretty. And I've got a little tear cast charm and these are a large hole bead, but they worked really nicely in here. And we've got this little teardrop sort of frame that is kind of a nice little addition on there. And I've got some other little small check glass beads. And I've got some head pins and some spacers. And I've got an assortment of different size jump rings and closed rings. And I'll explain why I use all these different ones as I'm going along. I also have some 8mm matte ebony wood. Love those ones. And we're going to be, I hear something different in my ear. Am I still okay?
Yeah, you're doing okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I heard something different. I thought, it doesn't sound like I'm even on anymore. Okay, good.
No, yeah, you're good.
Okay, good. So we're going to be using some 1mm leather today, and we're going to be making some barrel knots. So we're going to be using one of my barrel knot tubes. And we're probably going to use a little bit of GS Hypo cement at the end. And we'll need a ruler. I've got my awesome ruler.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yes, somebody gave it to us years ago, and it says awesome, and that's our thing in the store. I use the word awesome a lot, so we have it on signs all over the place. So
What a sweet gift.
yeah, I can't remember. It was years ago, but I thought it was cute. All right, so as far as tools, we're just going to be using a pair of cutters, and of course we're going to be using our crimp pliers, and then we'll be using our three tools that I use often, which are the bent chain nose, our chain nose pliers, and our round nose pliers. So let's get started on this. I know a few people are going to make it as I go along, so I will try not to go too fast. So I just need a short slurp of my water. I'm actually drinking water, not my typical rum and Diet Pepsi, because it's only 2:45.
I feel like we're all on a water kick this week. I know I am.
Yeah. One of my staff just yelled at it. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my awesome ruler here. And I'm just going to put this off to the side so that I can remember what I made. Because, it's one of those days. So I'm going to cut 5 inches off of my piece of chain. So we probably in your kit sent you a big long piece of chain. So I'm going to cut off 5 inches to start. And that's going to be at the front of the piece here. So that'll be this little front piece here. So if it's not exactly 5 inches, no one's going to come and arrest you. It's just, sort of what I used. Okay, so then I'm going to take my soft flex, and I can't remember how long this was. Let's see. I have a ruler here.
You have an awesome ruler.
Yeah, I do. Let's see, 12 and 19. So make that just over, 10 or 11 inches on each side. So I'm just going to cut that in half so that we've got 2 sections of our soft flex. I apologize if I'm always out of frame today. I'm feeling, a little discombobulated. So let's get this.
Oh, you're doing great.
Okay,
you're
cool.
Doing great.
Okay.
I will say, Terry was surprised that there was no rum. She said, wow, no rum.
I know. I'm sorry if I've disappointed my people, because they know that generally when I do these, I'm drinking rum, but
maybe she will be right after. Who knows?
Oh, when I go home today, I will be. It's been one of those days. All right. So we have our chain cut, and then now I'm going to make my little dangles. I like to kind of get things ready, and then it's easier for assembly. So I'm going to take one of my head pins, and yeah, they come looking like this. They're a little wonky, but you know what? I never worry about it. And if it bothers you, you can take a pair of wire straighteners and just straighten them out. Or you can use your hands. But one of the things you have to be careful about is the more that you, it always sounds naughty when I say this, the more that you pull on it, it makes it harder. So yeah.
You're work hardening that wire. The more you mess with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. So we're just going to do, I think I'm going to do like a little messy wrap. So I just take that and I kind of go right where I want the wrap to start. And I just bend it with my fingernail there. And then I'm going to create a little loop. So I just take my round nose pliers and kind of come in there, and I'm going to make sort of a smaller loop. I'm going to go down my pliers a little bit, and I go up and over and down. Then I'm going to open and rotate so that they're parallel to the table and pull that straight back. And that just creates my nice little wrap. And you know what? If it's not perfect, like this is not one of my more perfect wraps, then don't worry about it. Nobody is going to get that close to your jewelry that they're going to say, oh, that's not perfect. So, right. And I'm a perfectionist. So for me to say that, that's, something. So
that's saying something, huh?
Yeah. So then you're going to wrap down a couple times, and then you can wrap up a couple times. It looks like I just wrapped twice on my original one, but you can kind of do whatever you want on this, just make it your own. So
I love a good messy wrap. I'm a big fan of messy wraps.
Well, it's something that's actually taken me a bit of time to learn how to do. I've always been such a perfectionist. I was really well known for when I had my jewelry line, for having sort of perfect little wraps. But I've learned how to embrace the messy wrap. So now I just kind of come in there and make sure that burr is sort of not sticking up. That one's sticking up a little bit, but I don't want to go too crazy on it because I don't want to break the glass bead. So for the sake of some brevity, I'm going to just not bother. Now, if you can't bend it away with your nail, you can always just take your plier and put it in like this and bend like that. So I'm going to come in on the other little tiny one. So we had 2 small check glass beads. So that's what we're going to make our little dangles with. So again, we're just going to go up and over and down and then rotate. and then pull that back. And I know I'm going kind of fast on those. I have lots of videos on how to do a really good wrapped loop. And it's something that is worth looking at if you're not sure of how to do wrap loops. So just kind of,
this is a wrap loop technique. And if you need some more information or just want to check out a close up of just that, go visit Kellie's Bead Boutique on YouTube and see all the wealth of information that is over there. Kellie has so many wonderful videos.
Yeah, I think I have like 160 or something like that. Wow, these pliers are brand new and they're not cutting through this. That's not good. That's not good. So on this one, I did a little different. I didn't bother making it messy. And I'll just show you the difference. Some people like a perfect little wrap and some people like messy. So that's more of a perfect wrap. And then this one is a very messy one because I really botched it up. But, either or, it doesn't really matter. Whatever works for you. And if it's completely messy, whatever, it's fine. It's all good.
It's totally fine, right? Yes.
Yeah, it's all good. Okay.
We like to call that organic looking.
Yes, that's what we can go with today. So, okay, so I'm going to take one of my pieces of Softlex, and I've got these little crimp tubes. Now, you guys sell crimp tubes, don't you?
We do, yeah.
So I know that your crimp tubes are similar to mine in that I believe they're really good quality and they're a nice, they're a tubular crimp, right?
They are a tubular crimp, yeah. We do a double wall thickness on them, and they are seamless as well. So
yeah, and I think that's really important to use a really good crimp. Often when people use an inferior crimp, you'll end up with a, it just doesn't look nice or it doesn't crimp properly. So make sure you're using a good quality crimp. I sell the less, the ones that I don't like very much, and they just don't work very well. So I find that these are a little bit nicer to use. So
I definitely tell people if you're someone that struggles with crimping, make sure you're buying good crimps, because a lot of times that's where the problem is.
Absolutely, yeah. So between the Softlex and the crimps, that will make a big difference on how your piece lays and how much you'll struggle with your crimps. So I just put the crimp on, and then I'm going to take one end and run it through. I'm just working with the small piece of chain for now, so that we're creating the front part. So I'm going to put it through one of the ends of the loops there, and then I'm just going to take the end and pop it through. So I don't want to waste too much of this Softlex. So I'm working. It looks kind of awkward because I'm working at the very tail end there. So one of the things you have to make sure is that your pieces don't cross over. So I always grab hold of my end so that I know where it is. When they cross over and then you try to use your crimp tool, it just doesn't want to crimp properly. So what I do is sort of spread it apart like that, and I keep my fingers on top of it, and then I know it's not going to, cross over in the wrong way. So
yeah, that's a very, very good tip. You want to get your wires to be parallel instead of crossing through each other, and that'll help with the security of your piece as well as have it lay properly.
Absolutely, yeah. So now I'm going to use my crimping pliers, and we've got the two sections here. And just in case you haven't ever crimped before, we're going to work with the inside one, and that kind of looks like a little bit of a taco. So I'm going to come right in on top, and I make sure that I've covered the entire crimp. And right before I crimp, I usually just make sure everything's lined up because that kind of went cuckoo there on me. And I just make sure that I'm getting a good grip on it, and then crimp down nice and tight. And now I'm going to turn it just. Is that 90 degrees? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to use the outside one, and I want to come in on that and then just give it a good crimp.
I love that you said taco. Sarah always says ravioli when we use our magical crimping pliers. So now we have taco for the regular crimper, ravioli for the magic.
That works. So I like to come in with my pliers and give it just one more little smush just to make sure everything's, where it's supposed to be. Now, years ago, I took a class from a Kate, but not the Kate that we all know, a different Kate. And she said to make sure that you cut this little tail off. And it scared me a lot to do that because I thought, well, gosh, you're not leaving there's no support there. But if you have crimped properly, your piece will not come apart. So make sure you crimp properly, and then you're good to go. And
yes, 100%. We always cut all the way up to the crimp as well.
Yeah.
A lot of times we'll find if people want to go back through beads, and then you may use a thinner wire because the hole in your beads is too small. And in theory, you're actually causing more difficulty on the strength of the entire piece in doing that. So
yeah, and it just, what I find is that little end will come and niggle out. And she caught me doing it in a class, and she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. I was told that was for support." And when she said, "Well, how is that actually going to support something?" And it makes me think, right? So
yeah.
I just make sure that it's crimped really well. Now, I do have to say, I recently had eye surgery, and my vision is really poor right now. So this may not look as pretty as what I would normally like, because I have a hard time seeing it, but it looks like it's okay. But you just want to make sure it's nice and secure. So now, we kind of have to do this in stages, because of the way that I've constructed this. You can't just put the beads on and then add the barrel knots after. So I'm going to add a barrel knot now. So you're going to kind of get to see how to do a little bit of everything as we go along. So I'm not going to cut my piece of leather here. We're just going to work with the one big long piece and go as we, because sometimes you might use a little bit less. It's easier to work with a long piece of leather than to cut this into 4. So I would not cut it. Hopefully that made sense. It came out of my mouth completely different than what my brain was saying.
Just easier to leave it the full length than it is to cut it into sections. Got it.
It's always easier to work with longer pieces of leather than little bits when you're making these barrel knots. So what you're going to do is take your leather and place it just on the other side of your soft flex, and then you're going to take your barrel knot tube and kind of sandwich them in between. So what I do is I grab hold of that and I pull it towards me. So I just kind of go like this, and I'm going to wrap 3 or 4 times. So I just wrap away from me, and you can see I use this finger as some stability to make sure that that knot is staying nice and taut and it's going where I want it to. So I want to create 4 nice, neat wraps, and I'm working away towards my left hand. Now I'm going to take the tail end of that leather, and I'm going to go through the back end of the tube. And now you can see it came out the front. And I'm still holding on to that knot. So I know you can't really see, but I'm holding on to it because I don't want that knot to go awry. And then I'm going to pull that off. And then I start to pull that long piece. So people always say, well, which piece are you pulling? Well, I'm pulling the one that came out of the tube. So now you can see that I've created a knot. But my knot, of course, is nowhere near where I need it to be. So before I tighten that up, I'm going to pull it right over top of that crimp that I just made. Now, I don't want to completely sandwich this entire thing, because then it's not going to lay nicely. So I'm sort of going halfway so that you can still see some of the soft flex, but it's kind of centering that crimp in between. And then I'm going to pull that tight. So you kind of have to push and pull when you're creating these. And I don't do it quickly. I just take my time and I do a push and pull thing. And you can see I'm sort of adjusting them with my fingers to try and get it to lay exactly like I want. And push and pull until you get it where you want. And I find if you take your time with these, they turn out a lot nicer than trying to be, like, well, Kelly does them so fast and I'm just going to rip through it. But it doesn't always lay nicely when you do that. So sometimes you have to manipulate it a little bit. Now I can see a little bit of that crimp in there. So I'm just kind of, moving it around. So you may see a little bit of it, but it's not too bad. So you can see now how much of the soft flex I can see on that end. I have it basically where I want it. So now I'm going to pull on both ends, making sure that it's nice and snug. You want to have that knot really tight, because now we're going to be brave and we're going to come in and we're going to cut it off. So it is a knot. So if you've done it properly, it will hold. Yeah, but I do have some GS hypo, and I will show you at the end where we will work on that. So this one is the hardest one to get because you're getting a little close to that soft flex. So that one you want to be careful with on that end. So now we have our little knot like that. Isn't that cute? It is kind of like a really
cute,
unique kind of way to cover up your crimp.
I love it. I love it.
Thanks.
And Cheryl is saying, I love it. I never saw making the barrel knot with a tube. And Linda is saying that technique is a Kelly thing with the tube. And I will concur. I think I saw you made that the first time on maybe a Great Bead Extravaganza video, and I was like, mind blown.
Oh, wow. I've been making them for years. I think I started making them about, 7 or 8 years ago, and it just kind of became my thing. And I found by using the tube, it gave you that consistency, because you can easily make a barrel knot just around your finger even, but then, they never work out there's no consistency to them. You just never get it right. So by using this silly little tube, and I do sell these, just go into our website and type in the word barrel knot, and you'll have a list of things, but you want to pick out the barrel knot tube. Super easy. And if you ever order my kits and I use one of these in the kit, you get one for free. Well, not for free, but you get it in the kit.
You get it in the kit. Yeah. I was wondering if it happened to have come with this kit. Yeah.
Yes, always. If I make a barrel knot, you get the barrel knot tube. So somebody like Jennifer, who I know is watching right now, she probably has about 400 of them because she orders all my kits.
So she can make some barrel tube jewelry as well as use it as a tool.
Yeah, I mean, they're not really the best quality. So we're using them for jewelry. They're not the best, but you have a collection. You can, that way you'll never be without. So
yeah, it's a great technique. It's a beautiful knot, and it's so fun to see that used as a crimp cover. I really love your tip too, that you said, cover the crimp, but don't cover it entirely so that it's laying properly and it doesn't get too stiff over the chain or something like that.
Yeah, you always want to have that flexibility, and that's one of the things that people do often that's incorrect when they're working with Softflex is they tighten up too much, and then you end up with that rigidity instead of that's the nice thing about Softflex is it's very bendy. It's very flowy and bendy, and if you make something tight, then it just doesn't have that. So
doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
No.
Yeah.
So now I'm just going to start layering up my beads. So I've got one of my check glass beads and a spacer, and then my matte ebony, and then I'm going to put another spacer and then another one of these. I think this color is called Thistle, and it's so pretty.
It's really, really pretty. I was going to say that in the beginning, that the colors on this kit are just lovely.
Thanks. I just, it's kind of an odd color combination, but it worked really well when I threw it together, and I thought, hey, I'm kind of digging that. I mean, if you guys have watched me before, you know that I tend to gravitate to the browns as my accent color. There's something about it that speaks to me, and I like to do blues and browns and greens and browns, and this purple and brown kind of worked nicely. So I'm glad that it worked.
That light purple is a nice contrast to the darker colors.
Yeah, and it's got a little bit of a wash on it, like a bit of a bronze wash or something on it, so it went quite nice with that. So okay,
good job, Kelly.
Thank you. So now I've got my beads on here, so I'm going to repeat. But I'm going to use my other piece of chain here. And I guess this long piece of chain I should have cut in half too. I neglected to do that at the beginning because I was too busy yakking. So one of my tips on cutting chain to try and get it even is I take like a head pin or something that I might have kicking around, piece of wire, and I take the two ends, I line that up, and then I come down here and I find the center and I just give it a cut.
Perfect.
So that you're not trying to, people will measure it or whatever, and that never works. So I just take whatever I've got around, and now I've got two pretty equal pieces. One's got one link longer, but again, if anybody's that close to your jewelry, there should be something more exciting going on. I'm
so
naughty,
true.
I know, I'm sorry. Okay, so now I'm going to take another one of my crimps, and I'm going to take one of those longer pieces that I just worked on, and I'm going to run that through there. And so we're just going to crimp this up, but we have to leave a little bit of extra room because we have to try and get that knot in there. So when I pull this through, and you can see I give you way too much Softflex. So if you're making one of these at home, you're not going to need as much Softflex as what I give in the kits. But I always give it enough extra so that if you make a boo-boo, you've got a little bit more than you need, because nothing's worse than trying to make something and then go, oh gosh, I don't have enough.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is pull that down about like that. I'm trying to see if that will be about enough. Maybe pull back a little more. You're better to err on the side of a little loose because we don't want that to be all tight. So you can see I would never normally leave that gap right there, but I'm going to on this one because we're going to cover that with that knot and we don't want that to be tight. So I'm going to come in and give that my little crimp and then turn it 90 degrees and then use the outside one. Give that a little smush. That's my technical term for the day.
Taco time.
Yeah, taco time. And then give that a little trim. So now these little pieces here, I don't usually throw those away because you never know where you could use that. You could make something, look at that. That would still give you enough for another one. So hang on to your little pieces, because this stuff is not that it's expensive, but it's a good quality. So it's not the cheap stuff that you get from China that, is not good quality. So
Yeah, and you stick it in a little baggie and it'll be there forever. So,
yeah.
You might as well hold on to it and use it again.
Yeah, because I think I've seen Sarah use little tiny pieces like this for earrings
We
and all
have.
kinds of stuff, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. So
My bag has gotten quite large of
has
remnants
it?
at this point.
Yeah. That's good. Okay, so now we're going to repeat our barrel knot here. So it can get a little bit, I'll use the word challenging because we've got a whole lot of stuff here. So it may look a little fumbly, but if you just hold your tongue the right way, it'll all work out. So we're going to take our leather, and then we're going to take our barrel knot tube in between sort of the three. We've got like chain, barrel knot tube, and then our leather. And we're going to start working from underneath. And then I'm going to go around 4 times. And again, you want to make sure that those are nice and neat and next to each other. And we're working at the end of the leather, because don't forget, I still have to make more on the other side. So I don't want to waste. So now I'm going to take this long piece and I'm going to go through the back end. So you'll see that little short tail. That's where we want to be, because I'm going to go through the back end and it'll come out here, pop it out, and then I'm going to pull this tight. So before I pull tight, I want to make sure that this is where I want it to be. Now you can see this one's starting to flip up there because I let it go. So I'm going to tighten this up a little bit so that I don't lose this barrel knot. How are we doing for time, Kristen? Are we staying on track here?
Oh yeah, we're doing great.
Okay.
It's just a little after 3 right now, so you're fine.
Okay. And that one's almost wanting to run away from me, but whew, I saved it. Okay.
You saved it.
Yeah, saved the day. Okay, good. Whew.
It is a little more challenging, the second one, because you have the beads on the other side, which you don't have to worry about that the first time.
No.
So yeah. So just remember that when you're doing it. Don't get too frustrated with yourself on that second one, because you have a little bit more to work with. So
yeah. So you can see I'm just taking my time and I just kind of bossed it into place. You'll hear me use that word a lot in my videos, because you are the boss of creating your jewelry. So just kind of get those, in there nice and tight. And now you can see we've got the same thing that we had on the other end. We've got just a little bit of soft flex hanging out there. And then when I get close to being done, I'm going to tighten that. Whoops, I broke it. Well, that's fine, because I was going to cut it anyway.
You needed to cut it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, this is only 1 millimeter, so you can break it I have big man hands and I can break things. So
that's good for everyone to see. You want to pull it tight, but you don't want to be so tight that you pop it off.
Yeah. And I mean, if it breaks where I broke it, it's fine. So
that was perfect. Yeah.
Those little ends, I just kind of like wiggle them around. And now you can see that's one side of that created. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the bottom part here, just in case we run out of time. I want to make sure that because this other side would be exactly the same, but I need to have a short slurp of my water.
Go for it. That looks so cool. I just absolutely love how that looks on there. So fun to add that little extra leather. We do have a question. We have a question here from Janine. She's asking, Kellie, do you ever use wire guardians or wire guards?
I don't. Actually, while I'm answering that, I'm going to quickly fire these on here. I'll just get this out of the way. No, I don't. It's just one of those things that I just always felt like it was kind of not a waste, but it was like, well, I don't know. It wasn't my thing.
We don't really, we at Softflex Company, we don't use them either.
Yeah, I don't know why. I guess, I think it's when you start, when you learn how to make jewelry, it's what you learn how to use. And I just never really learned how to use them. So I keep losing my crimp. Goodness gracious, come back to me.
They're so little. And you're using a 2 millimeter crimp tube, is that right?
Yes, this is a 2 millimeter, and my hands are sticky because it's very hot back here today.
You need that rain.
Yes, I can hardly wait. I never really want rain, but right now we need it. It's just the forest fires, as they are everywhere. It's so bad here. So, all right, I'm just going to quickly put this on here so I've got another part of it done.
One of the nice things about the wire guards, I know, is that they do kind of help you with your spacing of that loop when we go back to talking about making things too tight.
Okay.
So that's probably a nice thing when you're first learning, but it's really not a necessary thing. It's more of an an aesthetic thing if you want to use it. It's not something you have to use. So
yeah, it's just not something I've ever really bothered with. I know we have customers that ask for that bullion wire, which is, you know, a similar sort of thing. So
yeah.
all right, so I'm just going to do this part just to make sure that we have enough time. So what I'm going to do is find the center of this, and I think I should have probably made sure that I was exactly in the center, and that is, you can see that I have exactly the same amount of links. I want to have one link in the middle, and then so before you put your second one on, make sure that you do have a center link, because if it's exactly even, then it's going to be off kilter and your necklace is going to look wonky. So does that make sense? That you want to have even amount on either side, and I got lucky there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this large oval jump ring and my little ones that I made at the beginning, my little charms, and then this little charm I've got. Now this is two-sided, so you can choose whichever side you want. So I'm going to open this up by taking one set of pliers on one side and my bent chain on the other side, which I absolutely love those ones. So
I was just saying, I just got a bent nose plier this week for the first time. I was using it.
I can't even imagine making jewelry without them.
I know everyone loves them. I felt very clumsy and awkward with it, but it was because it was kind of new to me. I'm sure a little more practice and I will love it, just like everyone else does.
I love them. So now you kind of have to hold your tongue the right way to get this in there. So I put on my two charms and then my big charm, and I'm going to come through the back side of here. And I used oval because I didn't want the, if I used a round ring, it would stick out too far. But this can, if you get frustrated easily, you could, you know, you could maybe be super frustrated trying to do this. So it's like, you got to hold your tongue the right way to get it in there. And I find sometimes I just have to, you know, you just kind of got to find that sweet spot. And
I love that saying. You have to hold your tongue the right way to get it in there.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember, how in the heck did I get that in there? Okay, so I probably just, you know, jammed it up inside there and then twisted it, because I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. So I think what I did was just kind of rested it a little bit like that, and then, yeah, did it like that. So that didn't look very, you know, professional, but it's awkward to get these to hang right, and I needed that oval to get that to hang right. So like just boss it around and you'll be fine.
Just boss it around. Yep. Show it who's boss.
Yep. And then I've got a 6mm. I think this is a 20 gauge, and we're going to open that up and run that through the top part of this, and then we're going to put it through that middle one that I've now lost. Try and find that. Let's
Thunderbird Woman Jewelry says, "Love you, Kelly. You're such a great teacher."
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I'm just going to run that through the one that's sticking out the bottom there and do that up. There we go. So now we have our little bottom section created. So now you can see how this is starting to take shape.
Take shape, yeah.
Right?
That looks so pretty.
I think we're still doing okay for time, so I should be able to get my other side done here.
I think I think you definitely do.
Okay.
We're only 3:15, so you're good.
Perfect. Good. Sorry, I had to have more water. I'm getting dry today. Okay. So now again, I'm going to take my leather and then my barrel knot tube, and I'm going to create my 4 wraps. So I don't know if this is the way that everybody does them, but this is the way that I do them. And I find that this gives me the most consistent wrap, keeping it nice and taut, holding on to it while I take the back end of that and run it through and then pull that out and still holding on to it. So I need some control, and that's, you know, I'm a control freak. So even when I make my jewelry. So now I'm going to slip that down to cover up that crimp, which is exactly what we're using this for. And you'll see that I've given you a lot of leather in here. So if you, you know, something goes awry, something breaks, or, you know, you're just frustrated and you want to redo it, you've got plenty of soft flex and plenty of leather, and we give you a couple extra crimps. So, you know, you're not just going to be like, well, I wrecked that and I can't finish it now.
Oh, that's super generous of you. It's nice to know that when you get a kit that you'll have a little bit of buffer built in there.
Yeah, because I mean, I know that I make, maybe not today, but I usually make things like in my videos, I make things look pretty easy. And I know that I can fly through things pretty fast. But I know that it's not always that way for everybody. And I want to make sure that uh, jewelry isn't frustrating. And that's actually on my little tag on my videos, I say, that I want to teach you how to make jewelry easily because
Yeah.
it isn't hard. It's just learning all the little subtleties and the little nuances of putting together jewelry. And I really do believe, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on a Softlex show right now, but I really do believe that it starts with using good quality materials, right? Like, so use
Yeah.
use good products like good leather and good, Softlex and good crimps, and you'll have much more
It does
success.
make a difference. And
Yeah.
when we're talking about beading supplies, I mean, when you're going for a good quality item, it's usually not that much more. I mean, it's
No,
not, it's not like a huge jump, but it can make all the difference in what you're putting together.
absolutely. And, I think when I first started making jewelry, I do think that I tried some of the junky stuff out there, but you know what? I think that half the time you end up getting frustrated and throwing it out anyway. So to me, that's just a waste of money. So,
Yeah.
I would rather
You
just
pay
use,
for it. You pay for it somehow, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So I've got my other side on there now. So I'm hoping that this is making sense to everybody. And I'm going
I
to put,
love it.
thank you.
It's looking great. And I just find this barrel knot to be this little technique with the tube to be mesmerizing.
Yeah,
Um,
it's fun. All right. So when we put the second half on, we want to make sure we're popping on our last piece of chain. I actually made a note to myself, which I haven't had to refer to my notes because I was afraid I might, but I did put there, put chain through Softlex.
before you crimp.
Yeah. So now when we do this one again, we want to leave that extra little bit of room, just maybe an extra, I don't know, what is that? Like, it's not even, it's a 1/4 inch or so, just that little bit of extra room so that we're not ending up with our piece buckling. And then we'll
Right.
give it our little taco crimp, and then we're going to go out on the side and give it a little hug. And boy, I really wish that my eyes were working because this is hard to do, but I've had nothing but trouble since I had my eye surgery, and which is very frustrating for an artist when you can't use your eyes. But
It is. How long ago was that?
4 months. I
Oh,
have
wow. So quite some time ago.
Yeah, I have to go in end of September and have my eyeball polished. Doesn't that sound good?
Oh, oh
I
my
know. I was like, okay.
goodness. You're like, maybe you shouldn't have told me that, right?
Yeah. She's like, honestly, it's not that bad. I'm like, okay. All right. So we're going to make our last barrel knot here. So just sandwich your barrel knot tube in between. And don't worry if it gets tangled up in the chain because we want to get our barrel knot started and then
Yeah.
we can move it along. So
And you're going below the first wrap I'm seeing, right?
yeah,
So
I'm always working towards I'm right-handed. So I work towards my left hand. So that's the way that I do them. If you're left-handed, then just do it the other way. Some people can actually, still do it the same way that I do it. But I just always say, well, try it in reverse and see if it works. The
right.
hardest part is like when you end up with this one, make sure that you get hold of that one right away because that's usually where your knot will go wrong is that last little knot there. So I'm just going to tighten this up and you can see like I'll roll it in between my fingers and that's just so that I'm creating a nice smooth knot. And so sometimes you have to sort of roll it around a little bit. So get it where you want. And you can see that I've got just that little bit of Softlex hanging out there and get that nice and snug. And then we're going to give that a little trim. And you see you've got quite a bit of leather. You can still use that for another project.
You have a bunch of barrel knots in your future with that.
Absolutely. I don't know, like the barrel knots, I feel like, I know it's sort of a one-trick pony, but I use it for so many different things because it's a really nice looking knot. Okay.
It's a really pretty knot.
So now you should have something that resembles that. We've got our lovely little beads and our barrel knots. Now, some people don't like when you cut that. You can see that little bit of end there.
Yeah.
So what I do, I just don't have, maybe I've got one right here. Oh, I just have to reach across. Sorry if you guys are seeing my boob across there. I'm trying to reach that. If I got up out of my chair, it would have helped. But so what I do sometimes is, so you see how that you've got that little bit there and you can see the cut end. Take a little Sharpie and then just blot out the end.
Oh, so smart.
And then you don't see it. And honestly, if you kind of like, smush it in there, tuck it around, nobody's going to notice that you put Sharpie. So
no, not at all. And was it the crimp that you were just coloring right now?
No, that was the end of the leather.
Oh, the end of the leather.
Yeah. So, because when you cut your leather, you'll see that little tiny.
Oh, sometimes you see the other color. Yeah, the inside.
It doesn't bother me, but if it does bother you, then just use a Sharpie.
Okay. Diane says Bead's gone wild.
Yeah. Okay. So now what I do is when I'm going to put on my necklace, I turn it as though I'm going to wear it, in that it's facing away from me and up. And the reason I do that is I want to make sure that I'm putting my lobster clasp on the hand that I want to do it up with. And I'm right-handed, so I want to put it on the right side. So I'm going to take one of these small, you'll have a few small jump rings in your kit. And those are a nice, strong 18 gauge, 4mm, and they're nice and strong. So you kind of have to get bossy with them because they are very strong. So we're going to just run that through the end and add our lobster clasp. And then we're going to do this up. And just make sure it kind of clicks until it's, nice and snug there. And then on the other side, I'm going to do the same with another small jump ring. Open that up. And then I have a closed ring. I like to complete things with a closed ring versus just using that. It's really hard to get a lobster clasp through just a small piece of chain. So I find if you use a nice jump ring and then a closed ring, it just makes life easier when you want to do it up. And that is the completed piece. So I'm just going to move
that
some of my
idea is so smart. Sally is saying, I agree. I don't think I ever thought of that, of flipping my necklace the other way around so that I put my clasp on the right side.
Yeah, because nobody ever knows which way to put it on. So I just kind of go like that. I know that that's the way that I want it to look on the front of my, on me. And then that way I know when I put it on, it will be the right way.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things, and nothing bugs me more than when I get a necklace and it's going the wrong direction and I'm trying to, jerry rig it with my left hand that I'm not very coordinated with.
So trying to get it on and off. I know.
Yeah. So now
that's really nice that you finish it off with a closed jump ring. It does make a difference when on that end to have that part be closed.
Yeah. I think it makes it, it finishes it off in a more professional way too, which I think is a nicer way of doing it. So now this will give you about a 25-inch necklace. We've got like 12, 24, about 25 inches. So, I just did it because that's how much I had, but you can definitely make this a little shorter if you wanted to have a necklace that where this was maybe up in the middle of your chest, like, or you can make it longer, whatever sort of, floats your boat. But
you've got a bunch of chain in the back there that you can work with, of taking a little bit more off if you want it to be a little bit shorter, or
and if you wanted to, and if it was just a little short and you had some more jump rings, you could just add a few more jump rings on either side to create a little bit more length. There's always something that you can do. Or if you had another piece of chain, sorry, I was just looking at the time, and we're good here. So if you had another piece of antique brass chain and you wanted to make it, say, 2 inches longer, what I would do is I would attach another jump ring to a piece of chain, and you could add like a little bead and dangle it on the end, and then you'd have another way of extending it out. So
right, and then it can be adjustable, so you can wear it shorter or longer depending on what you've got on.
Absolutely.
Kelly is asking, does this come in different colors? I don't think it did.
No, it just came in the one, and I will disassemble these and make them into 2 kits. So after we're done here, I will have 2 kits available for you, and then we're sold out. But this is a really good stash buster too. If you've got, if you've got another pendant, you could, you could do anything with this, but you could use any pendant. You could use any kind of beads there, any color leather. And
can they buy all the parts and pieces for the most part from you?
For the most part. Unfortunately, this piece is no longer manufactured. So we have smaller ones like that, but we don't carry these large ones. But you could use anything down here. You could even use a stone pendant, but we have the chain and of course the lobster clasps, and we have various different spacers, and we have the leather, and we carry the soft flex and everything, and the
so they have enough in there. So if you did miss out on the kit, there are going to be 2 left once they disassemble this and put it up on the website. So keep your eye out for that if you really want it. And if you do miss it, you can pick up most of the parts and pieces except for that little focal at the end. Maybe you can swap that out from something else you have in your stash, and get everything else from Kellie.
Yeah, and what I might do is maybe I'll have a look next week and see if I can make a similar style necklace, and maybe I will do a YouTube video on it, and I will show how, and I will make a similar style necklace, but using the same technique. So maybe I'll try and do that in a couple weeks on my YouTube channel. So, just keep watching the channel and see what happens. So
head over to the Kellie's Bead Boutique on YouTube and subscribe over there. And this way you'll get notified when she's got that video up, and you can get on her email list. And I'm sure if she puts another one together, she'll be able to notify you that way as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, so many, everyone's loving it. What a great project. Thank you. Brenda says, loving the necklace. Thank you, Kellie, for an awesome project. Thank you, Softflex and Kellie for being here this week. Love you guys. So many great tips. Very pretty, beautiful, Kellie. Great tutorial. What a beautiful job you did. Everyone, you guys are all so sweet.
Yes, thank you, everybody that has supported all of us, Softflex, and all of the presenters this week. It's a lot for not for necessarily for us, but it's a lot for Kristen and Sarah and everybody else behind the scenes to do this. And so we really, really do appreciate your support in showing up and commenting and liking and purchasing all the kits. You have all been so generous and buying all of our kits. And we really, all of us do really appreciate that so much.
We really
thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know if you want to turn your face cam back on, or if it's just, okay.
Yeah, I will.
All right, let's go like this. Hold on, let me push all the buttons.
Okay. Just tell me when it's good to go.
Go for it, and then I'll bring you back in.
All right.
Yes, if you liked our video today, please give us some hearts or thumbs up on YouTube. Like it, share it around with your friends. This is such a great demonstration. I mean, this is one of those projects that you can use with all sorts of stuff in your stash. You just need a little chain, a little beads, a little beading wire, and then you get that wonderful technique of the barrel knots. I mean, that to me was just so much fun. It adds just a little extra uniqueness to that design that just takes it up a notch, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's, I'm trying to get my camera to work here. It doesn't seem to want to be cooperating. Is it working there?
No, it just is looking black right now. So you switched it back to the front cam?
I did.
Oh, is it on the tripod and maybe being covered up somehow?
No, it's just technology. It doesn't ever want to work.
It's just technology. Well, is there anything else you want? We can still hear you.
Okay,
so even if we can't see you.
I guess we'll just have to just end it today because
there you are.
There I am. I'll just
gotcha. It just needed a little extra time.
Yeah, it's feeling like me today, a little under the weather. Oh, I'm going in and out. Goodness gracious. It's sorry for the bad backdrop.
I've been finding that that's happened to me a couple of times this week. I went in and out for some reason. I had to come back in. So maybe it's just what's happening.
It's the gremlins that are out there for sure.
Totally. So is there anything else you want to share with us, or any promotions or sales going on, or anything you want to tell everybody about?
I don't have any sales on this week. I should have done something for you guys today. What can I do? I don't know. I usually
stay tuned. Do you do them on like a regular basis, or is it just get on that newsletter and you'll know when they happen?
Yeah, the best thing is to get on the newsletter. If you've never ordered from me, you'll save 20% on your first order, which is always really nice. And if you decide that I'm not your cup of tea, you can unsubscribe. It's not so, it's free. It's not a big deal. And I don't send very many newsletters out. I try to keep it to 1 or 2 a month at the most. And
lucky you.
Yeah. And
sorry, Softflexers. I do most of our emails. I shouldn't say all, but I do most of our emails, and there's a lot.
Well, I just don't have time. I try to do it, but if you go on my website, there's a little yellow bar on the top, and that's where I generally will post when there's a sale, and I usually do a couple sales a month. And so there's always good savings. And if you're in the US, you do save extra money because of the exchange rate, which is always really nice. It'll save you, depending on what the exchange rate is. Right now, it's about 22% or something like that. So you'll save an extra 20 odd percent, whatever.
Wow.
So, yeah,
that's a big deal.
And then if I have a 50% off sale, then you're saving like 70%. So sometimes the savings is really good.
Really, in that case, if you're shopping from the US, you are saving on every order. I mean, so that's huge. Yeah. That's really good to know. Kellie, you're my cup of tea. Kellie says, you're my cup of tea too.
Oh, hell yeah.
Fun.
Or is it my cup of rum?
Yeah. Well, you can head on over and get that cup of rum and relax after this, right? Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate all of your support, Kellie, for the many, many years. And we just are so happy that we were able to make this work and bring you on and just share you with all of our Softlex fans and see that great project today. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And thank you so much for including me in on this. And thank you, everybody that showed up today. We really do appreciate it. So go off and make some fabulous jewelry and get those barrel knots going. And let's see if we can create a barrel knot frenzy.
Yeah, we really should. And now that I've seen you do it a few more times, I'm like, okay, I think I got it now. I got to give that one a try.
Yeah, practice makes perfect. I tell everybody to just grab some crappy leather you've got sitting around. Like, don't try and create a project. Just start making barrel knots. Just practice and practice until you get it right. And then once you figure it out, then you're good to go. So
that makes all the difference when you're not have the pressure of making it on your project. You can sometimes just start to make those knots and get comfortable before you go ahead and do it on the project itself.
I just noticed one little thing that I forgot to mention. So I would take, I'm trying to find the camera here. I would take a little bit of GS Hypo and run it on either side of the cut where I put the cut. I would just put a little dot of GS Hypo on either side of that. Am I in camera?
You go the other way. There. Yeah, it's the opposite of what you think.
Yeah, so right there where I put my cut, I would just put one drop of GS Hypo, and then I would pull this back and put a little drop there. And I would do that on all 4 of my barrel knots. I forgot all about that because, I forgot.
Oh, good. Good tip. The last.
Yeah, you don't really need it. But, if you're one of those people that worries about something and
makes it extra secure. And we did just lose Kellie. Her screen did flash before, so I think it just kicked her off. So I'm glad she was able to get in that gluing tip right before the end to just glue each side of those knots to give it a little extra security. This has been so much fun. Thank you all for being here with me today. As a reminder, there was a change to the schedule. We will not be doing our 4:30 p.m. video with Sarah this afternoon. We moved that to tomorrow. So join us tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, which is 1:30 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll also have the other 3 videos that are planned for tomorrow as well. Here is that schedule real fast before I go. Let me remember who we've got on here tomorrow. I know, there we go. So we had a 4:30 today with Sarah that is going to be moving to tomorrow. So this is our last video for today. And check out Sarah tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. instead. And then you'll have the Bead Gallery with us at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. And then Nile with Silver Silk and more at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. And then the after party will be 4:30 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. So I'll catch you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day. This has been so much fun, and I can't wait to see what we learn tomorrow. And if you missed anything, You can watch all the replays at Softlex Company's Facebook page, Softlex Company's YouTube channel, or join us in the Softlex Company VIB Facebook group. So that's the Softlex VIB Studio Facebook group. We have all of the videos in that group pinned to the announcement section, so it makes it really easy to find. Go check on announcements and you can watch all of the replays. They will be up there for you to check out anytime you want to. Thanks for joining, everyone. I think that's it. See you tomorrow. Bye.